So the first thing I'll be addressing is the gunpowder plot. The gunpowder plot happened in 1605, and this was an attempt to kill King James I. He was the King of England, and Robert Catesby was the leader of all this. And the plan was to put gunpowder barrels under the Parliament building and wait for the King and Queen, Prince, and everyone to get to the Parliament building, and then ignite them and blow the building up. And so the guy that was chosen to stay with the barrels to carry out the plan the next day was named Guy Fawkes. And he was captured the night before that because word of a conspiracy had got out, and he got caught. And he and several other people that were involved with that plot were put to death. The second thing I'll be addressing is the Clarendon Code. And this was 4 legal statuses that were passed. The first being the Corporation Act of 1661, the second being the Act of Uniformity, which was in 1662, the third was the Conventicle Act of 1664, and the final one is the 5 Mile Act of 1665. And what this was supposed to do was stop the Anglican Church and the Nonconformists from becoming one like body and one religion, and keep them separate. They didn't want them to be the same thing. And what all this did was reestablish the supremacy of the Anglican Church by itself. So it stopped all this. And it was called the Clarendon Code because of a man named Edward Hyde. And the reason why they got Clarendon from Edward Hyde is because he was the first Earl of Clarendon, and that's how they got the name. The final thing I will be addressing was the Pride Purge, and what this was Thomas Pride was a colonel in the service of the Parliamentary New Model Army during the English Civil War. And so after they had came back and they had just won their battle, a lot of the parliamentaries wanted to make peace with King Charles, but a lot of the higher ups and the military army leaders did not want this to happen. They didn't want anything to do with King Charles, and they thought making peace with him was just simply ridiculous. So Thomas Pride ended up preventing up to 130 MPs from entering the parliament, and the others were arrested or barred. And the small group that was left that didn't get arrested or barred were called the Rumps. And it was called the Pride Purge even though Thomas Pride didn't even have that much to do with it. He just played out his role in carried out his orders that he got in the military, and it just happened to end up with his name. He ended up dying in 1658.